everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to one of my favourite rooms in my house, my kitchen. Today's video I'm going to talk to you all about how to decorate a rental kitchen, but anybody who has a small kitchen or a budget that they have to stick to in terms of decorating, I feel like this video should also be very useful to you guys as well. So a little bit of background about this kitchen. It was not pretty when we first started. I will insert some before pictures here right now. It was not my favourite room in the house whatsoever. I just didn't want to spend any time in it at all. Slowly but surely we made it up. It didn't actually cost us that much at all, but the small investment that we made into this kitchen was 100% worth it. I think you guys can all agree it looks 10 times better now than it did before. So today I'm going to talk to you about my few tips I think you guys will find really helpful. Like I said, if you live in a rental and your kitchen isn't great, but you just want to do something that's temporary but is also going to make a lot of difference, and you can reverse at the end of your tenancy, or again if you are wanting to do a makeover on your kitchen on a budget and you just do not have the money to do a complete bulldoze, everything like that. So without further ado, let's go into tip number one, which is contact paper. So you can see a little bit behind me, I can see it in front of me right here, but one of the first things that we did was put contact paper on all our counters in our kitchen. Let me tell you, I will sing this from the rooftop that this is like the number one thing you should do. The countertops were horrible. They were chipped, there were burn marks in places, it was just not pretty. So I slapped down this marble contact paper onto the countertops. It took a long night and 3 arguments between my husband and I, but in the end it made such a difference to the space. It just feels nicer, it looks nicer, it complements the space a bit more. Oh my god, yeah. In terms of how much it cost, I will put up the price somewhere on this screen, but I think it was about 30 quid for 6 rolls. It was an absolute bargain. You can actually buy this contact paper from B&Q. I will link that down below. And it's so easy to put on. Unfortunately, I can't show you a demonstration, but if you search how to apply contact paper in YouTube, you will get loads of videos. It's where I saw how to do it. But essentially, you measure up to the space that you want to do. You cut it to the pre-space, and then you peel a bit back and you slowly apply it, you know, dragging out, making sure you don't get any air bubbles. We applied this about a couple of months ago. Can't entirely remember exactly when we finished our kitchen, but this was one of the last things we did after everything else. And it's held up really well. There are a couple of stains from where we've made curries, and saffron has just stained it, which is unfortunate, but in terms of wearability around sort of like here where the oven is and also where the sink is, it's holding up really well. There's not anything coming up or anything like that. Even on the edges here, I've got like an open edge. It does really hold up well. And like I said, the great thing is this stuff is removable. Like once your tenancy ends, you can peel it off, throw it in the bin, jobs are good. And like for now, it's brilliant. It's 100% worth the investment, let me tell you, just to put a bit of this on your counters. There's loads of different styles as well. You can go for wood, you don't have to go for marble, you know me though. You can go for wood, you can go for concrete, I think there's one. Whatever floats. Honestly, go out there, have a look. Like I said, if you're gonna spend any money, spend it on contact paper. So the next tip I'm gonna let you know about is paint. Now, I feel like I say this in every video that I've ever said about doing stuff. Paint is such a cheap way to make a difference to a room. This room was sort of like a magnolia. It was magnolia colour, it wasn't pretty whatsoever. We just slapped on a emulsion, white emulsion, brilliant white. Again, I'll link it down below. I think it was 5 litres for £20, and that's pretty much done this room, the living room, it's lasted just so long. So in terms of paint, I think it really does make a difference. You don't have to go white. Obviously, I've just got an addiction to a very nice neutral interior. But with renting as well, white's a safe zone, but you could go for any colour as long as you're willing to commit to painting it back to where it was before when you leave your tenancy. think it's absolutely fine. Another painting job that we've done just to inject a little bit of colour is our kitchen door on the inside. I painted this in a light kind of plaster pink. It's actually called Get Plastered by Dowsing and Reynolds, and it's just added a little bit of colour. It pops with the tiles. It looks brilliant, and it's made a difference. It just makes the place feel lighter, brighter, just everything. Other things that you can paint as well, which is my next tip, your cabinets. Do not forget about your cabinets. These were a pine colour, absolutely dreck. Oh, I can't stand pine. So when I asked the landlord if I was okay to paint the cabinets, do you know, just a neutral colour, she was 100% yes, yep, you can do that if you want to. So again, we painted them a very cheap kind of wood, kind of slightly eggshell wood paint. Such a difference. They feel lighter, nicer, everything like that. And they just, as you can see, they look so pretty. Speaking of cabinets, once you've painted them, if you choose to go that way, one thing you might want to do is look at the hardware on them. For us, that was a no-brainer. I was like, absolutely changing up the hardware on this one. We've gone for these silver knobs. I will link them down below. They complement the silver that's from the sink and everything like that, but it looks so much nicer than the pine ones. Just add an extra bit of looks and everything like that. Hardware as well. You can go cheap, you can go expensive. With rentals, these are stuff that if you save the other cabinet handles or knobs that you had before in a bag and put them in like the attic or put them in like a cupboard or anything like that, you can invest quite a bit of money in these handles and take them with you to your next place or your forever home. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is storage. Anyone that's lived in a rental knows that storage is dire in the place, and unfortunately our kitchen is no different. So the first thing we tackled was the lack of counter surfaces. Before, I will put a picture here, we had this like place where the freezer went, that literally was just an open space with a cupboard on top of it. It was a weird kind of alcove area. I decided, with a little bit of help from my dad, who is an excellent DIYer extraordinaire, to put an extra bit of counter in from there. So we had a little extra space, as you can see here. This kind of butcher's block kind of fake countertop, I think I got for about £3. £3 from B&Q. I just got an offcut and it's made such a difference. How many times can I say that in this video? But in truth, this has given us extra counter space that we didn't have before. It's made use of the extra plug. We've got like a little coffee, tea spot, so it's a little kind of accent corner. Again, just, yeah, where you can get storage in. You can do something like this in your own place if you wanted to. You could just add shelves on a wall. That's something I'm interested in the wall that's kind of behind you guys. Whether or not we want to put something there to add extra storage, all that jazz. Something that we did do there, which is one of my favourite things in my kitchen, is get a sort of pantry cabinet, which is this one here that I will show you now. That is from IKEA. It's a Billy bookcase with glass doors on it. It was an investment. It was about £100, which not everyone has in their budget, but if it's a possibility, I highly recommend it. Not only is it a lovely accent point where I can display all my pretty glassware, my gins, my cookbooks, everything like that, but underneath it, there's hidden storage, which means I can shove things in there, have extra bits of bobs on hand, everything like that. I jazz these up with my own little handles because, you know, gotta always jazz these things up and upcycle. These level ones just add a little bit of interest and a little bit extra to the space. Okay, so another tip I want to talk about is flooring. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we didn't pay for this flooring. Unfortunately, we had an issue with one of our pipes where the kitchen flooded halfway through the makeover, which meant that the old flooring had to be ripped up and replaced with new lino. Now, that worked out in our favour because the lino complements my aesthetic and the style of this kitchen beautifully. So it's hard for me to kind of talk about. It's one of those things that I would recommend, and looking into it, how much this lino actually costs for this space. I did research it and I think it was about £40. Maybe I would have done it, maybe I wouldn't have done it. But if you don't have a lovely flooring, you know, parquet, tile, whatever you dream of, something like a vinyl or lino flooring might work for you guys. Again, I would let you, as a renter, it's your decision if you want to do that or not. This is not something you can take with you, so it is an investment that you are putting in, that you know, like with most of these things that I've been talking about, apart from painting cabinets and stuff like that, hardware, storage, these are things you can take on with you. Flooring, not so much, but it does make a difference. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys as to whether or not you take on that tip or not. Personally, I don't think I would have done, just because, you know, it doesn't make much sense to me. But if you are updating a kitchen on a budget and don't have the pennies, you know, buy gorgeous tiles, then maybe a lino flooring is something you should consider. Okay, my next tip is wall art. I think wall art makes or breaks a room. I have these lovely prints. It's McGee here. I have got these from Decino, or Decino, however you pronounce it. I also have a lovely little octopus print over there. They just add character to a space. I'm not afraid of putting a nail in a wall. It's a temporary thing and I'm very good at spackling up holes, so I'm happy to do with that. If you are not prepared to do that though, you can by all means hang up artware and use something like command hooks, strips, anything like that as a temporary measure to put up artwork in your home. So some of the things I actually want to talk to you about are other tips that I've picked up from other renters. I will leave all their links below. These are not my ideas, these are other people's ideas and suggestions. But something you may want to consider, and something definitely we're considering in the future, is stuff like tile decors. Now, a lot of people love these green tiles behind me. It's not a colour that's in my wheel. They look really nice now that I've painted the door pink and got some pink accents in here, but honestly I would prefer a navy blue or something like that in there if I had to have the tiles. If you've got a situation where even if you don't have a backsplash or a backsplash that you don't like, considering something temporary like tile decors, which are very easy, much like the contact paper, you stick them on, and then once you're done with them you just peel them off and that's it. Now these can be really, really expensive. I've seen some horrendous prices out there, but there also can be some, you know, more affordable options for your temporary situation. And again, it's something we're thinking about, but it's not necessarily needed now. But certainly if you are in the need to get rid of that backsplash of yours, I would highly recommend these. And my final tip is creating styling moments with everyday simple objects. And by that I mean things like your drying rack for your dishes and stuff. We don't have a dishwasher, unfortunately. Now, you could go for something very basic and stuff like that, but if you're willing to invest a little bit more, going for something like this gorgeous bamboo one that we have, that I got from Amazon, again, I'll link it down below. I think this only cost me 15 quid, so really not expensive whatsoever. But the difference the bamboo makes in the kitchen, it just elevates the room a little bit more, makes it feel a little bit extra special and everything like that. Things you may also want to consider are stuff like your utensil holder. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this was a big investment from me, but I did have a gift card that I got for my birthday, so I did buy the Le Creuset one. Wouldn't recommend buying that unless you know, want to spend 20 something pounds on the utensil holder, or you have a gift card or want to ask for it for your birthday or Christmas. But for me, it just helps elevate something as simple as my utensils that I use every single day, and just looks really pretty to look at. Other things you may want to consider are stuff like a recipe book holder. This one was very cheap from IKEA. Again, I'll link it down below. And with this one, I just display a cookbook. It's something around, you know, a random page every week, but just something that creates a little stylized moment, makes the room look special. And with that, I would recommend stuff like, again, styling glassware. That can elevate a room's design, and that costs nothing, just rearranging your glassware somewhere. Creating little styling moments like the little coffee station that I've created. I got that jar which holds all my coffee capsules in it for about £2–3 from IKEA. Again, a styling moment that takes the room from drab to fab. So they're all little things that you can do. They're something you don't even have to spend a lot of money on. Recently I moved my fruit bowl from one side of the kitchen to the other, and again I've created a lovely little moment, a little thing in this weird little alcove station that otherwise would not have been useful. And that is it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed watching it. I've certainly enjoyed chatting to you guys with my coffee in one of my favourite rooms. Again, I just hope this video inspires you to create a gorgeous kitchen, whether you do all the tips I suggested or one of the tips. You know, it's your home. I just want you guys to enjoy it as much as I do, and yeah. So yeah, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you next week for my next video. Until then, have a fabulous week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys!